Hello guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and welcome to my YouTube channel. A while back someone asked me if I could do a bookshelf tour, and since I just got a new bookshelf, as you can see, I thought it was the perfect time. I just got a haircut, it's very short, and I'm not sure how I feel about it, but it'll grow out. And I'm also wearing this Doctor Who shirt, even though I'm not really a Doctor Who fan anymore, but you know how you get into something and then like everyone buys you that gift, and then after you're not into it anymore, everyone like understands, they buy you adult things, and then you have like that one relative that's like, oh, Julia still likes Doctor Who, and I'm like, I don't. So let's get started. So definite motion sickness warning for this new girl, though I will try and keep it as steady as I can. So these two shelves are my to-read fiction. As you can see, I've got a bunch of Lois McMaster Bujold to catch up on, and then everything with this sticky on it is telling myself that's a priority read. So Descendant of the Crane by Joan Hay, which I got in my Seattle Independent Bookstore Day haul, and then The Flight Girls, which is a Lady Pilot book. Those are my two biggest priorities right now. I am working hard on reading books for my Lady Pilot video, which I'm hopefully going to be filming in the next few weeks here. Moving on to read nonfiction. You didn't get to see these usually because they're on like a bottom shelf behind my bed, but I've got a whole section on queer history, that Alan Turing brick that I gotta get through someday. And then as you can see, I have a big candle collection. I just really like scented candles, and you can get them for cheap. It's a nice like luxury item to get. I won this Atlas of Adventure in a contest in college, and I still have barely looked at it, but I sometimes use stuff like that for like D&D inspiration, so that's kind of why I've kept it. And this is my already read nonfiction, the Discworld section, and then all of my RPG rulebooks. So as you can see, I've got some, you probably can't see, but some Fate rulebooks, Monster of the Week, Dungeon World, Golden Sky Stories, D&D, I just got that Player's Handbook, the Discworld GURPS RPG game, which is just super crunchy, and some other random stuff. And then this is a continuation of my read fiction shelf, so let's get to that. So it's kind of an overview. I've got 3 shelves now, and this one is my entire fiction read library. I forgot to mention, I do everything in alphabetical order by author last name. I would do the nonfiction in like Dewey Decimal, but that's a bit too obsessive, so they're just kind of organized by type. This is like constantly in flux. I try and get rid of as many books as I buy. That doesn't happen, which is why I have an entire new shelf, but anyway, I do try and get rid of books that I'm not reading anymore. As you can tell, In Card is Much Love. That's probably the book I've had for the longest, but I've got my Le Bardugo, Libet Bray, Jasper Fforde, Wind in the Willows. I think that was like my mom's copy, maybe even older than that. Homegoing I got for school like 4 years ago and haven't been able to get rid of it because it was so good, but I'm not sure that I'll reread it. The Redwall books that I've managed to hang on to, those are all my favorites. The big tome of the Earthsea books, and then the regular Earthsea books that are more portable. I've owned 2 copies of Station 11, but when my ex-girlfriend and I broke up, she still had my old copy, and I wanted to own it still, so I went out and bought a new one. Here we're getting into the Terry Pratchett shelf. This is very dark, I'm sorry. Some newer ones there. That Kimmel McGrath poetry collection, my mom got that for me for my 20th birthday. It's a poem for every year of the 20th century, which is really neat. So these are all my trade paperbacks of the Discworld books. These are ones that I picked up over the course of a few months when I was getting into the Discworld series, so if I think it's worth having, I have it. So you see some ones that I don't have. I used to own a copy of The Last Continent. Nothing in that book does it for me, so I don't own that anymore. And then, as I showed you earlier, it continues over here. I've got my hardback Discworld, other miscellaneous Terry Pratchett. As you can see, Good Omens is with Terry Pratchett and not Neil Gaiman. That's a pet peeve of mine in bookstores. And then my Elizabeth Wayne section. And moving on over to the kind of miscellaneous shelf, we're gonna get real up close and personal here. Oh yeah, and these are some knickknacks that I've had for just yonks of time. I know it's really dark in here. My parents got me that statuette from Italy like 15 years ago now. Pictures of my grandma. Some rocks. Arabrijes. Okay, so here's my cookbook and cooking magazine collection. I love Bon Appetit magazine, and then there's a bunch of backpacker magazines from when I was obsessed with. See, I haven't actually gone backpacking that much, but I really liked reading about it. I just need to go backpacking more. Anyway, Doctor Who DVDs, which I don't really watch anymore. Oh, this was cool. Chocolate that I got from Iceland. Just kept the box because it's gay. My Doll Yellow paperback collection. I did a whole video on those. My comic books. I should really do some comic book recommendations someday. I just read Brazen, which I think I told you all about, and then these are organized by a publisher, and then the Doctor Who comics, which slap. Those are all the tall collector editions from Doctor Who magazine, which puts out some amazing comic stories. And then down here, that's too dark, I'm not even going to bother, but I do have some Oz books, which is neat. I should really do a video on Oz someday. Another thing is I like to collect bookmarks because they're a fun, free thing to grab at conventions. You can get like a sample of someone's art. And I also like really collecting them from independent bookstores, so I've got a whole swath of these here, and you can usually get these for free, and it's like a big business card, but they always have neat art on them, and thinking about putting them on a corkboard or something just to display them. So, oh my land, it's so hot at this dance. Even though I have been reading a lot of ebooks lately and haven't needed these, they're fun to collect, and it makes the bookstore sellers happy. Oh, I should talk about what books I'm reading right now. So I'm reading West with the Night, which is a memoir by Earl Markham from 1942. She was a pilot in Africa. It's really good writing so far, and less racist than I was expecting, but still a little racist. And then I am reading Mare's War by Tanita S. Davis, about a Black woman on a road trip with her two granddaughters, and she's telling them about how she served in the Women's Army Corps. So that's really cool, and like a side of World War II Army that I hadn't really seen. I've read about the Code Girls, and I've read about the WASP, but I've not read about the WAC yet. And I just finished this incredible book of essays called Are Women on the Ground, which is all essays by female Arab journalists reporting on the Arab world. Just an incredibly inspiring and educational book of essays that's published by Penguin and edited by, insert her name here, just a really fantastic book of essays. I've written down so many things that I want to look up about the Arab Spring, so I highly recommend that. It's very readable and just has a lot that it can teach you. I also just finished the audiobook of The War Outside, which is told from dual perspectives of a Japanese-American and German-American young women who are both in the same internment camp in Texas. The cover, this character would not have a bicycle because everything they have in the camp they either had to bring or buy at the camp-provided store, so there's no way in how she would have had a bicycle. I'm pretty sure the only reason that she has a bicycle is because of this book. I would love to do a whole video on the World War II women walking away from you cover trend, and I mean, I don't have time nor the inclination to read all those books, but I would love to see some trends within not just the covers but the fiction themselves. And I have this theory that Codename Verity was really influential on the genre because, I mean, my only evidence to back that up is some of the World War II books I've read since it was published in 2012, and also the impact that it had on me, and I know that that's a really well-loved book, and so I would be curious to see if my thesis of it being impactful holds up. But I think that's the reason that there is a bicycle on the cover of The War Outside, is because of Codename Verity, because bicycles are never mentioned in that book. Alright. That is all I have time for today. Please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed my content, and I love reading your comments on what you are reading right now and any recommendations that you have for me. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!